Okay, I gotta be honest from the get-go here. I am not, nor have I ever been, a Kiss fan. Not really. I mean, I do like a lot of their music. I've seen their movies. And of course, I do respect their work ethic. I mean, damn. So yeah, that should qualify me as a Kiss fan. But there's just so much more baggage that comes with being a legitimate Kiss fan, you know what I mean? So let's just say I'm a casual kisser. But anyways, none of that ever stopped me from being enamored with the group for a few months when this little film was released in 1999. You know, I completely bought into the hype. I bought the Todd McFarlane toys. I didn't buy the PC game or whatever, but I did jam the hell out of Psycho Circus, definitely bought into that. In fact, that may be my favorite Kiss song till this very day. All thanks directly to the film, Detroit Rock City. And you know, as a young teen, I didn't think much of it. In fact, I thought that this was Kiss's way of cashing out one more time before calling it quits. Boy, was I fucking wrong. Yet the film is the perfect storm of nostalgia for older viewers, and for younger audiences like us, well, I mean, the wackiness and overall coolness was right on point. And upon rewatching it recently, I was astonished by how well it was made and how perfectly it's aged, really. I mean, well, and I thought it was time to talk to you guys about one of my all-time favorite pieces of media, the Psycho Circus music video. I'm just kidding tonight. We're shaking our wee-wees down in Detroit Rock City. That being said, hopefully Kiss doesn't get this video blocked. Stop it, Kiss. Bad Kiss. Don't do it, Gene, or I'll remind everybody about your Firestarter cover. I'm a Firestarter. Twisted Firestarter. Detroit Rock City is, of course, basically a classic to anyone my age who was into comics and music and whatnot in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, I'm old as hell. Who's with me? The story seemed to be aimed directly at young males, okay? The film tells the story about four guys in a Kiss cover band that have their tickets destroyed by an overzealous religious fanatic mother. Wackiness ensues as they try to find their way to the promised land while the clock ticks. Now, I was a little too young to be directly influenced by this movie, but it only took a few more years. Me and the homies eventually started a band where we started playing dive bars in the early 2000s Corpus Christi punk rock scene. I mean, I remember going out of town with some friends, going to shows, hotboxing my car on the way up there. This is way before, cell phones had become really a thing. So we were driving around just aimlessly in my hand-me-down grandma car, which is basically a ticking time bomb. And we were always into that kind of music and whatnot, the punk stuff, the harder stuff. But Psycho Circus was always in the mix. I must admit, seeing the guys' cover band Mystery doing their thing in high school, having basement jams and whatnot, it all definitely made me want to do the same thing. Aside from starting a cover band, because that shit's lame as hell. And our main boys in the band Mystery, well, they make it look so easy. They make it look so fun. They really play well off each other. And they don't really feel too stereotypy, Even the stoner character, Trip, he just seems like that guy that's always been around since the 70s.
So you gonna, suck our dicks or what?
What?
And to cast little Eddie Furlong at this time, what a score. Furlong had one hell of a decade in the 90s. And to top it all off with something like Detroit Rock City, one hell of a way to enter the millennium, my man. Good luck, little Eddie Furlong. Good luck. But, even little Eddie Furlong, he feels like a genuine dude plucked right from the time. And with his stage fright and standoffish nature here in the film, again, basically somebody we all know.
Why didn't you lick my hairy crap?
And then there's the lovelorn Mimi Siku. Jam, the lovelorn Jam, who kind of takes the lead in this ensemble, kind of. It is his mom that burns the Kiss tickets, so they kind of kick off the plot. The mom being played by the legendary Lynn Shay in yet another New Line Cinema release, a company obviously started by her brother Bob with Nightmare on Elm Street. And Mimi Siku, Jam here, he's sort of the linchpin in the group, if there is one, And then there's Lex, played by the underrated Giuseppe Andrews, who really does do a lot with, kind of a nothing character, if I'm being honest. And Giuseppe would actually go on to work with Adam Rifkin later on, and they became good friends. And when watching the interviews and whatnot from the film, Giuseppe, he really seems years ahead of his co-stars artistically. And we can't really talk about the stellar cast in this flick without mentioning the absolute queen, Natasha Lyonne, who was apparently handpicked by Gene Simmons himself for the role. And I, for one, was ecstatic to see her in this flick when it came out. I was already familiar with her from stuff like Slums of Beverly Hills, But I'm a Cheerleader, Dennis the Menace. I rewatched that movie recently. Hilarious. Oh, and even Krippendorf's Tribe, a movie I've covered on the channel. Check that out next. And needless to say, I mean, Natasha, ever since the 90s, she's always been a welcome presence and a household name. For me, at least.
It's a girl walking along the side of the highway. We should pull over and help her out. I mean, they make scary movies that start out like that.
Hey, but they make porno movies that start out like that too.
Detroit Rock City, it kind of comes off as a live-action cartoon that somehow feels so real in its place in the 70s. Seriously, the costume and set design is just on another level. You can really see the film's budget on screen in nearly every scene. And for such a small movie, it really goes the distance in making it feel much bigger, you know? All due in no small part to the legendary Adam Rifkin, but more on him later. I mean, I can't give him all the credit. And another reason this film works so well is, I mean, it was built from the ground up by KISS fans. Everyone from the writer, producer, the director, I mean, all major KISS fans, especially with the script. I mean, this thing is seriously perfect. Everything from the pacing to the one-liners to the third act twist that sees our dudes separating to kind of find their own little adventure. I mean, it is all very much KISS fandom inspired, and it is obvious. And that's the key, really. The movie is very adventurous, and I can only imagine, you know, rang true to anyone who was a teen back in those days. And it's just so obvious the writer Carl Dupree is maybe one of the world's biggest KISS fans. But the film itself does have a strange origin, as there's many ways it could have wound up, really. And that's with the direct involvement of KISS themselves being here, you know, who knows what could have happened. Well, I say direct involvement of KISS, what I really mean is Gene Simmons, as he was the executive producer here.
Based on a very important issue, the heart. This was a very dear part of Adam's heart. This is something that he wanted to do. So all the DreamWorks Spielberg people had to be put aside, unfortunately, because of his 3-picture deal there, and he wanted to do this instead of that stuff. And you know, it's the biggest compliment when somebody puts aside other career-building steps they could be taking to do something that's important to them because it comes from the heart.
And when it comes to director Adam Rifkin, I've been a fan of this guy nearly my whole life, seriously. When it comes to his films, I mean, his early stuff like Invisible Maniac, Dark Backward, which I've covered on the channel. In fact, it was Dark Backward that inspired me to do stand-up. I tell you, what do I know about the opposite sex? You mean anal? I got this great idea for the Dark Backward Part 2. It's about a guy that grows 2 asses. Dark Backward 2, Ass Backward. Let me know, Adam. What's up? He wrote films like Mouse Hunt. He was involved with Underdog. Love that movie. He's done all kinds of stuff. He did a really great movie with Burt Reynolds. I highly recommend everybody watch it. He stepped into the satire realm a few times, but one of my favorites is with National Lampoon's The Stoned Age, where he actually plays a character in the film. There's this really funny scene that always stuck in my head when they're going out and they're hunting a mastodon, and then when they kill it, they decide, you know, let's eat this thing. And the elder in the group, he yells out, "Dibs on the asshole!" Just a funny scene. But even Adam Rifkin himself was a huge fan of KISS, still is to this day.
Third and fourth by custom. Oh,
And he was the one who kind of got the line on the film because he was friends with the right people. He knew the producer that was trying to get it made for years, and it was up and down, didn't really know what was happening. He knew the writer. They worked directly together on this film. And, you know, again, you see that everything is just really a labor of love. These dudes just got to play around for a bit. Everyone seemed to just have such a great time. And it's very cool to see that KISS exists in his strange little, you know, film universe, as Rifkin does have his own. There's a recurring gag where products, or in this case a restaurant, they're all kind of named after this production company called Blumps. And, you know, it was introduced in The Dark Backward, from what I remember, as a kind of like a post-apocalyptic kind of creepy thing. It's this big face, you know. And here in Detroit Rock City, we get a Blumps Burgers that apparently, you know, the signage was up for a while. I wish I could have gone by there, because that is something that I very much wish is a real thing.
Whoa, I just heard you talking through my nose.
Staunch gang, that's all I got for you tonight. I'm going to shake my wee-wee. Be sure to subscribe, comment, like, hit that notification bell, and let me know down below in the comments what you want to see on the channel in 2025. Obviously, I'm focusing on some more of my favorite comedy movies. I got some more music stuff coming out. This was a little mixed tonight. But hey, I want to do what you guys want to see. So let me know down below. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. All the links down below. I'll see you down there. Staunch gang, shake your wee-wee.